I'm Ken Maneely. I'm the plant manager here at Louisville Assembly. I'm joined on the podium by my partner, Steve Stone, who's the UAW Local 862 chairman, and we want to welcome everybody to today's announcements here at Louisville Assembly. You know, there's been a lot of hopeful anticipation for this day for a long time. We were talking about it with some of the dignitaries in the green room, with our employees. I know that we really appreciate all your patience, and now the company is finally ready and working with the government to give some very clear definition on what the future of Louisville Assembly holds, and I'll give you a preview. I don't know how it gets any better than this. This is great stuff. What a lot of people don't realize is that Ford has a very rich history of building vehicles in Louisville and in the state of Kentucky. It's almost 100 years. This is one of the first cities outside of the Detroit area that Henry Ford settled in 1912. This plant was built in 1955. For the last 20 years, it's had the privilege to build really one of the iconic vehicle lines in the history of Ford, if not the industry, and that's the Ford Explorer. You think about the Explorer for 10, 12 years. In the 90s, as we all know, the Explorer not only dominated its segment, it owned it. But then the world changed a bit, and the market segmentation changed. The bottom line is, next Thursday, a week from today, is the last Explorer coming off the chassis line. And I'm going to bring Mark Fields up here in a second. He's going to give you, in high definition, a glimpse of what the future holds. There's one thing I'd like to add before I turn it over to Steve. And there's one thing that the Louisville Assembly Plant team focused on this year that we talked about on numerous occasions. What we really needed to do this year is to focus on our key metrics, and for any assembly plant in the auto industry, it's basically three things. It's quality, it's efficiency, and it's employee safety. And let me tell you how it all turned out as this year comes to a close. The current Explorer will balance out with best ever levels of quality, best ever levels of efficiency by a significant margin, and hold the applause for the best, really, because it is the most important thing, safety of our employees. We were the #1 ranked U.S. assembly plant for safety based on our safety record. And with that, here's Steve Stone.
Good afternoon. Great day for Louisville. I welcome everybody here, especially the governor, mayor, Mark Fields, Jim Tatro. I also want to recognize my friend Brock Roy, Assistant Director, National Ford Department. Mike Abel, he's representing Mo Davison out of Region 3. And one other guest we brought in today, Bruce Day, a former chairman. I wanted to recognize them because they were instrumental, along with everyone else, about us getting a product. Brock, Mike were on the negotiating team in 2007 when we were committed to C-Car platform vehicle. Bruce was in here when hard times started. They went through the COA and everything else we've gone through here. But today we're here, one reason, along with the help we had here, when you have the government, business, and labor meeting, negotiating, working together, gave us an opportunity to be here to announce his product. Bottom line, with the product we're getting in there, every one of you out there on the floor, with the layoffs, the shift reductions, the rotations, you kept focus on our product and continued to do the best job that anyone could possibly do. And like I said, Ken mentioned it, we're still building the highest quality we've ever done. So the main people in this building that needs the applause is you out there.
All right, good morning, everybody. Is it going to be a good day in Louisville today? It certainly is. And Ken, thank you for that. Good morning, everybody. You know, it's, as I said, it's going to be a great day today in Louisville. And very importantly, it's just 5 days, as Steve said, before the end of the production of the Explorer, and the last Explorer actually comes off the line of this, this great facility. And as you know, Louisville, we've here in the plant, we've built Explorers basically for as long as we've had an Explorer in our lineup. And that's basically 2 decades of building the SUVs that customers still love today, and it has quite a history. But just as much as we cherish history, we also want to talk about the future. And today we're really turning to a new chapter for LAP, because I can tell you without a doubt that this facility has a very, very bright future. And I just got to tell you a little story. It was about, probably about 3 years ago. It was right after the shift came off. I came down to visit the plant, and Mr. Day was the chairman at the time. And we spent the day together, and what I was so impressed with at the time is, despite the obstacles, everybody in the plant had a can-do attitude. And it just shows. It shows in the quality that you've been able to keep up, and very importantly, the safety. And it's just been a wonderful kind of inspiration. So I want to just say a very big thank you to each and every one of you that are so committed to Ford and passionate about Ford. Thank you. Now, it's an honor to be joined today by some very special guests. As you heard, Kentucky Governor Steve Beshear, a tremendous friend to Ford. Louisville Mayor Jerry Abramson, another who's serving his last few days. And I'll tell you another story. Jerry came up with his team to Dearborn, gosh, must have been about 3 years ago. He was there to talk. We were still making decisions about where we wanted to place product. And he came with his team, and as he said afterwards, you know, I was selling, and he did a darn good job, I got to tell you on that. Of course, we have from the UAW National Ford Department, Representative Brock Roy, and a great partner for Ford. Brock, thanks for being here. I also have a few colleagues from Dearborn. Jim Tetreault, our Vice President of North American Manufacturing, and also Bill Dirksen, our Director of Labor Affairs. But I'd also like to recognize a few other key partners who really, without today, would not have been possible. Mayor-elect Greg Fisher, we look forward to working with you. Oh, there you are. Speaker Pro Tem Larry Clark and the Jefferson County delegation, thank you. Members of the Governor's Economic Development Cabinet, we have Joe Reagan, the President and CEO of Greater Louisville, Inc., who was very instrumental in helping us to get to where we are. The Louisville Metro Council, and representative from Congressman Yarmouth and Guthrie's offices. Thanks so much for being here. Now, I'm really pleased today to talk about a few key details about what the future holds for this wonderful facility, where we're making a significant commitment to American manufacturing and to UAW jobs. It's a commitment that will also allow us to keep our promise to our customers, our promise to deliver even more high-quality, high-fuel-efficient vehicles with technologies that people are really going to want and value. And I'm pleased to announce this morning that Ford's all-new compact utility vehicle, which is the next-generation Ford Escape, will be built right here at the Louisville Assembly Plant. And that'll be beginning late next year as we start some of the builds. Now, the all-new Escape is going to be built on Ford's what we call global C-Car platform. And we all know that this platform, this C-Car platform, are the underpinnings of the new Ford Focus, but this platform will eventually support up to 10 vehicles around the world and account for 2 million units of annual production by 2012. And Louisville is at the heart of that plan. I tell you, when we're done with today, all of our hands are going to hurt because we're going to be clapping a lot. Now, while it's too soon to share specifics about the product, about our next generation Escape today, we will provide some insight about what customers can expect through a concept vehicle that we are going to be launching at the North American International Auto Show at Detroit next month. So, to be sure, there's a lot of work to do in terms of preparation for this new product. And this plant, as you know, has been building body-on-frame Explorers since 1989. So we have a lot of work to do and a lot of transformation to go on in the plant. And I'm pleased to announce today that Ford is investing $600 million in Louisville for state-of-the-art So what are you going to get for $600 million? Well, besides new painted lines on the parking lot, you're going to be able to get state-of-the-art new tooling, a new body shop, paint department upgrades, and other improvements throughout the plant. Basically, a complete renovation of this wonderful facility. And when we're done, the Louisville Assembly Plant will be Ford's most flexible, high-volume plant in the world. Now, here's even better news. In addition, we're adding 1,800 new jobs to staff a second full shift. That's right, 1,800 jobs. So essentially, that means we're more than doubling the size of the workforce. So we really are going to need those lines painted on the parking lot for those new folks. Because we're going to go from essentially 1,100 employees today to just about 2,900 in a little over a year's time. Now, we expect that these jobs are going to be filled through a combination of transferring employees from other facilities, reactivating workers who are on layoff, at the time, and then some new hiring within right here in the Louisville community. And it's absolutely essential to recognize that none of this would have been possible if we didn't think that we can competitively build all new product right here in Louisville. And there is nothing more important to Ford than working with all of our business partners, working together, and with other stakeholders as well, to find ways to make our operations, particularly our engineering and our manufacturing operations, competitive with the best in the business. And when I say the best in the business, I mean that in a global sense. No longer are we competing just with what was known as the big three. We're now competing just as much with Nissan, with Volkswagen, with Hyundai, as we traditionally competed with GM or Chrysler. And the more competitive that we can become in our global operations, the more capital that we'll have available to then reinvest in our plants, our people, and our products right here back in the United States of America. Now, our plan for the transformation of the plant here in Louisville supports our effort to leverage our overall global products, but also providing a balanced and high-quality portfolio of cars across our lineup, so when customers come into our showrooms, they see they have lots of choice. And Louisville Assembly is the second body-on-frame manufacturing facility in the U.S. that we are retooling to enable production of smaller, more fuel-efficient vehicles and better balancing our overall vehicle lineup. In fact, the Michigan Assembly Plant, formerly known as the Michigan Truck Plant, has just undergone a very similar transformation that's being planned right here for Louisville Assembly. And the Michigan Assembly Plant right now is in the process of nearing its launch for the 2012 Ford Focus in North America, another vehicle from this C-Car platform. So it's really amazing to think about it. Just to kind of, fast forward a year, a little over a year from now, this plant is going to be completely transformed, and it won't look like anything it does today. As a matter of fact, Jim Tetra was telling me in 10 days' time it won't look like anything you've seen today, because we're going to have a few bulldozers in here. But it's amazing, because you'll also have a workforce along with 1,800 new colleagues of yours who will be building a new product that nobody has even seen yet. Now, that's a pretty tall order, so we have a lot of work to do, and I want to thank everybody in advance for all the work and passion and effort that you're going to extend to make that plan become a reality. Now, in addition to the UAW, the state of Kentucky and the city of Louisville have been strategic partners and absolutely fantastic and wonderful partners when it comes to working together to really find ways to be more competitive. And we really can't thank them enough for that support. And our continued partnership has enabled Ford to make manufacturing sourcing decisions that benefit Kentuckians by ensuring that we really have a strong manufacturing presence in the state and in the city. And based on the commitment we've announced today, our commitment of significant investment and increased jobs, the state of Kentucky is providing tax incentives that really made our decision to transform this plant and build the next generation Escape much, much easier. So thank you for that. And finally, this includes also the Department of Energy Green Partnership Loan Program, which helps support our investment here. And the congressional delegation from Kentucky, including Representative Yarmouth, who was in our initial meeting right here at LAP when we first looked at this opportunity, has been very, very instrumental in our decision. And in particular, I'd like to recognize the governor, Governor Beshear, who knows that a strong manufacturing base is critical to building a strong economy, and who's worked very hard and tirelessly to make today's announcement possible. So it's my honor and privilege to introduce Governor Beshear.
Thank you, Mark. On behalf of 4.2 million Kentuckians, I want this message to go out very loud and very clear all around this world. Ford Motor Company, United Auto Workers, Kentucky loves you. It doesn't get any better than this, folks. My #1 priority throughout this economic recession has been jobs, creating new ones and protecting existing ones. No other accomplishment will do more to help our families and to move our state forward in these difficult times. We continue to be successful in creating and saving jobs, and that's not by accident. It's because we're committed to working with our existing businesses to help them succeed. We're committed to our families, and that includes our corporate family. Kentucky takes great pride in its ongoing partnership with Ford Motor Company. The transformation of the Louisville Assembly Plant demonstrates the depth of that relationship and the tremendous results that can occur when state government, local government, and the private sector, both management and labor, work together. If you remember back a few years ago, this plant and our truck plant and the thousands of jobs located here were in jeopardy of closing, as the industry as a whole and as companies like Ford had to reorganize themselves. For 21 years, Ford Motor Company and the UAW have not had a better friend and advocate than Mayor Jerry Abramson, who is the main reason that we are standing here today and able to make this announcement. Thank you, Jerry. The mayor and I and many others in this business community, including officials from the State Cabinet for Economic Development, took that danger at that time very seriously. We participated in many discussions with Ford, both here and in Michigan. And we worked out a package of performance-based incentives that helped the company move forward. Thanks in part to the state's commitment, a significant part of Ford's future success is going to take place right here in Louisville, Kentucky, for years and years to come. These 1,800 new jobs, this $600 million in new investment we're celebrating today are directly attributable to that decision. And folks, I feel confident that today's celebration is one of many to come. Because as happy as we are today, I want you to know something. We are not done yet. The state and the city of Louisville are being proactive and being aggressive in our efforts to continue to grow Ford's footprint right here in Kentucky. Just today, the Kentucky Economic Development Finance Authority approved another amendment to the state incentive package first approved for Ford back in 2007. This amended package paves the way and gives the flexibility for the company to invest up to $240 more millions of dollars, up to $1 billion, and create as many as 1,000 new jobs down the road. As I say, we're being proactive, and we're going to be working with the company and holding that incentive package out there to let them look at very enticingly, and in hopes that we will take another step in the next months and years to continue to build this footprint that we are celebrating today. Folks, when Ford succeeds, we succeed. And when we succeed, Kentucky's families succeed. Congratulations to everybody, to Ford, to Louisville, and to the workers that make up such a wonderful workforce that work here at our plants. Thank you very much.
You know, with an announcement of the magnitude that Mark has just made, the only thing you can say is wow. And right? Wow. $600 million. $600 million. They'll be taking this plant down to the studs. Where are you, Jim? Is that right? To the studs. And rebuilding the most technologically advanced facility in the world. Not just America, in the world. And it wouldn't have happened. You know, it's very kind when Ford Motor gives the credit to the state and to the city for the incentives that we developed, for the packages we put together, for the negotiations that we have had ongoing for years. It's very nice when they give us that credit, but the real credit, and you know it, and they know it, and Mark said it, the real credit goes to the UAW men and women in this room and around this country that have made the difference for Ford Motor Company. You know, by growing up in this community, and as a result, knowing that generation after generation after generation of Louisvillians and all the surrounding counties, this is just not a Jefferson County experience. We've got folks from all over the surrounding counties whose parents and grandparents have been a part of the Ford family for years and years, who gave you all the opportunity to get the education that you're now having the opportunity to provide to your kids, all because of what Ford Motor has meant to Louisville, Kentucky. Whether it was back over around Shawnee Park where it first started, or whether it moved over to U of L, or out to the facilities where we are today. But you know, when you stop and think about it, I've been mayor long enough to have had a chance to start way back with Governor Collins when we went to Dearborn for my first trip because they were going to shut this place down. The LTD was done, and it was time for us to talk with the folks up in Dearborn about the future. And we had Owen Hammond with us on that plane, and Owen, representing you, the UAW employees, joined with the governor and myself, and the next thing I know, I think it was the Ranger that showed up at this facility, and we began to make another vehicle and keep this place growing and expanding. 6 governors I've had the chance to visit, well, they took me to Dearborn. I didn't take them. Although it's the oldest airplane flying in the fleet. I mean, if the governor invites you to go on the King Air anywhere, it's the oldest King Air airplane flying in America. So think whether you want to drive to Dearborn or whether you want to fly. But most of the time we flew, and every time the plane got us there, which is good. But when we got in there, we were working. We were always working. And it created a situation where we could carry the message about what you all were about what this community was about the generations after generations of Ford families who had been able to do what they did for their families and their kids because of the wonderful jobs that were here at this facility and the truck facility. And then they made the investment in the truck facility, they being Ford Motor. And then we kept focusing on this facility. And the question became, there were Ford factories closing all over the country. There was never a more difficult financial crisis, but for the Depression, that Ford Motor had to go through to rethink, restructure, reassess how to take it to the next stage, how to literally ensure that there was a Ford Motor still standing, still providing a quality product, and still employing the outstanding skilled and productive workers. And as they went through that difficulty, that's when Governor Beshear joined me. We flew up to Dearborn on that plane that I was talking about, and it made it. And we went in to talk to Mark, and we went in to talk to others that were there in the leadership. And we talked to them about, we know the crisis is here. We know you're going to have to restructure. We know it's a financially difficult world out there. But remember the productivity and the skilled workers in this community. Remember the generation of Ford families in this community who were there yesterday, who are there today, and will be there to grow the future. Just give us a chance. And this governor stepped up, and this governor made commitments that had never been made to Ford Motor to give, as Mark said, the opportunity to make it an easier decision. So, Governor Beshear, thank you for your leadership. Let me just end. Let me end with this. As a owner of 2 Escape hybrids, yeah. My wife's about ready to get her 3rd Escape hybrid, so we've been a believer for a long time. It is really exciting to have the next generation of Escape to be a part of this community's efforts in the future, and other vehicles I truly believe will come. So what's the bottom line? 1,800 new jobs, $600 million investment. Ford loves this community, Ford loves its employees, and buddy, Louisville loves Ford. Thank you all very much.
Let me start out by saying I bring greetings on behalf of Vice President Jimmy Settles, President Bob King, and your Regional Director Mo Davison. I also want to mention the 20-year relationship that I've had with your leadership, going back Frank Howe, Louis Sexton, Ron Gettelfinger. I know Donnie's up there smiling down upon us today. I used to be the chairman at Wixom, and I know everybody knows what happened there. And there has been some real tough decisions to be made. But I'll tell you, every time I leave Michigan and I show up in the Bluegrass State, I feel like I'm home. 862 is one local that has always stood together, provided the services that the company needs to build the best products in the world. I had the opportunity last week to be with Jim in Chicago on the announcement or the unveiling, the plant ceremony around the Explorer up there. But if you look at everything that Ford is delivering through Mark, Alan, Derek Kuzak, the design, the engineering, the products we're coming to market with, you look at the expertise and the fundamentals of what we've done to train our workforce,
This is the best workforce on the planet. And behind me, there's 3 great icons, and we're back. Not that we went anywhere, but we're back, and we're back big time. I know Bob, Jimmy, Mo wanted to be here today very badly because this is an extremely important day, and they're extremely proud of the leadership of Steve and the negotiators over the last 4 years. But they have an IEB meeting this week that was extremely important. We are headed into a contract year, and we're looking at all resources and all avenues to ensure that everybody does well next year. With that, I would congratulate this membership. I offer the services of the UAW to each and every one of you at any given moment. The leadership here has our phone numbers. We're available 24/7. You are the best workforce in the world. You've shown that through your quality, your safety. Kenny touched on it. There's nothing more important than people's lives. And the inroads we've made around that are unbelievable. The quality that you guys produce, I've watched a lot of plants that were going out, and it's been a testament to the UAW Ford workers of what you've done up to the final minute, and it's congratulatory to all of you. I want to thank the governor and the mayor for all their cooperation. The parties have worked through a lot of issues over the last 4 years, but now we've sowed the seeds. We're going to enjoy the fruits of our labor. God bless you all.
This stuff is all so good, I don't think we should end it. But unfortunately, that is the end of our program this morning. What a fantastic day for the plant, for the company, for the community.